What's up, everyone? Matt, Ned here, and now, Ned, don't take this the wrong way, but we're here to prove the fact that the human body isn't that complicated. Now, up here, Ned proves to be complicated, but from the neck down, with all that other stuff that moves, it's really not that complicated. When we understand our main movers and how they work, we can understand the systems that support them, and we can better understand where things go wrong. When we understand where things go wrong, we can start to understand how to fix them. The main points I want to draw attention to are the shoulder and the hip. I believe those are the two things that most people suffer ailments from. Shoulder pain becomes shoulder pain, but hip pain is often actually low back pain. But let's talk about this for a second. Both the shoulder and the hip are ball and socket joints. The shoulder is very much like a golf ball in a tee. You can see it's just kind of sitting there. The hip, while it does, Ned's has this little metal doodad, it's meant to be sucked up in there. The shoulder is a golf ball in a tee because it is meant to circumvent, or it's meant to move around in all different directions. Therefore, it needs to be unimpinged by that. The hip is a ball and socket joint that sits up in the hip capsule because it needs to be robust, it needs to be resilient, it needs to carry the most load. It is probably our biggest joint combo, therefore it must do the most work. Both of these joints are more stable, externally rotated, turned out. That's why Ned's anatomical position is with his palm forward, thumb facing out, like so. There you go, now you can see it. If I were to take Ned and turn his arm in, palm down, you see what happens is all the way up into the shoulder joint, things start to turn in. You can do this by taking your palm up, turning it down. That internal rotation is bad. Same thing with the hip. While the hip needs to have internal rotation just the same way the shoulder has, we need to have the ability to do it. It is just not where joints create the most power and are the most stable. The hand is a lot like the foot. Ned's very limber, he does yoga. But the hand and the foot, look at those. They are so similar. They're designed to do very similar things. When we do push-ups, we need to have a bend in the palm because that's what's going to support the wrist. And just like our foot has a natural arch to support the ankle. You can see all these little bones in here. I don't even know if I can spin Ned's foot that way. But you can see all these little bones. This is what happens when your foot when your arch collapses. These guys flatten out, and that doesn't support the wrist, the ankle. So when we're thinking about shoulder pain, hip pain, we often need to look upstream, downstream. Downstream to here, downstream to the foot and the ankle. And these problems then become very clear. What gets complicated is us, humans, people, the way we live our lives. That becomes the complicated part, and it's often that we have to fix, because fixing the person becomes easy.